In line with South Africa's Disability Month Awareness and the 16 Days of Activism for No Violence Against Women and Children campaign, Modern Centric Academy, a Modern Community Foundation, a subsidiary of Modern Centric Holdings, advocates for the rights of persons with disabilities by offering and promoting the education and upskilling and empowerment of all its beneficiaries, including key vulnerable populations, which include women, sexual minorities, and the LGBTIAP community. We look at the vulnerability of vulnerable populations with Marisse Edwards, Operations Manager at Modern Centric Holdings, and she joins us via our video link. Marisse, thank you so much for joining us here on the late edition. Of course, as November draws to a close, of course, this also being Disabilities Awareness Month, you have been equipping people living with disabilities with skills. Tell us more about that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me in Bali. Good evening to the viewers. So as a business, we do focus a lot of our energies on persons with disability, on the LGBTIAP plus community, just trying to uplift them and trying to really just reveal what their struggles are, their everyday struggles. You'll find that these individuals have struggled with regards to the communities that they reside within. They have struggled with regards to entering into a corporate space, being treated fairly within that corporate space. So what we do as an organization largely in Bali is to go out to these corporates and we advocate for the rights of these individuals. So we have been to quite a few corporates to sit and discuss what are they doing around disability within their business? What are they doing to uplift this community? What are they doing with regards to the LGBTQIA plus community? And what are they doing in terms of their policies? How are they protecting their employees who come from these communities? So it's really just to reveal what it is that they are struggling with daily and to see how we could potentially as a community come together and assist them so that they do not feel left behind.
And of course, that's always the issue that, people living with disabilities should never be left behind. If maybe you can also give us a bit of insight in terms of the various skills they've been helped with so that you can ensure that they also make some sort of difference in their communities.
Absolutely. So we all know as a country, we're facing the fourth industrial revolution and we're sorely lacking in terms of skills. So what we try and do as an organization is to go out to the more rural communities. We go and engage with these communities who are struggling in terms of finding employment, in terms of finding opportunities to further their studies. And we go and we solicit funding from the different theatres as well as our different corporate clients from their skills development budgets, and we try and assist these individuals as far as possible. It's not enough though just to impart the skill, because you got to look at this person now after you've given them the skill. Where do they land up? So it's about entering into the workplace. Is that workplace ready to accommodate this individual and their specific needs? So over and above imparting the skills that are required, we also go into corporates to go and have conversations with their management to find out, okay, what are you doing in terms of your building, your accessibility in terms of your building? We work very closely with accredited occupational therapists who we will then take through to corporate sites, and we'll go and have a walkabout and do a reasonable accommodation audit and then our findings we impart to the management, let them know exactly what types of accommodations they have in place, what disabilities they can accommodate, and what accommodations they still need to make in order to broaden that scope.
And Marisse, while we are indeed observing the Disability Awareness Month, we also find ourselves in the midst of, observing the 16 days of activism in our country. At the same time, perhaps maybe if you can just also give us a bit of insight when it comes to the various challenges faced by people living with disabilities, especially looking at abuse in the country.
When you're looking at abuse, it is so broad, and because somehow people look at, as a general concession really, that people will look at you if you're living with a disability, that is a weakness that lays within you. So of course, exploitation is something that these people live with daily. So it's really for us, for the 16 days of activism, what are we planning? We are planning to do a lot of visits to different GBV type houses. So we do have relationships countrywide with disability houses, different disability houses, as well as GBV survivor homes. So we want to go out and we want to go and do conversations with these individuals, find out how we could possibly come together to assist. Because the one thing that we try and ensure is that this person doesn't go back to that abusive situation. Let's empower this person so that they are able to stand on their own and, make decisions for themselves and really just become whole. It's really about patching, a very broken place in somebody's spirit, and that takes time. So we do have a group of individuals that we work with that are really, really excellent at that. And it's not about just the first visit, it's about the follow-up visit. Yeah. It's about ensuring that the changes that you try to effect are actually taking place, and that you've left this person in a better space than you found the person in. That is basically what we try and do as an organization. So on our Modern Community Foundation side, we also do a lot of food drives. We've done an international GBV conference that we did a couple of years ago as well. We also have an IME conference every year that we run, and that conference is really just to bring corporates together with persons with disabilities from different, sectors to sit and discuss exactly what is corporate doing to try and elevate these individuals, and what are the struggles that these individuals what are they experiencing trying to get into these corporate spaces, and when they do reach the corporate spaces, what challenges do they find when they're there? Because we find that when we do studies in different companies, that people living with disabilities don't stay very long. And whenever you go back and you interview those candidates, you always find that there was a certain sense of exploitation that was happening at the work site. Yeah. So we work very diligently with members within corporates to form allyships where individuals who are living with disabilities or individuals from the LGBTIAP plus community who feel exploited can now go to an ally within the business to sit and discuss whatever it is that they are struggling with.
Marisse, how common is abuse when it comes to people living with disabilities?
It's actually so sad, Bali. We have visited many homes where we have found kids that have had to be removed, kids who are living with disabilities who have had to be removed from their homes because of abuse. And it's absolutely sad that you find it's people's families who will be the perpetrators of this abuse. It happens quite frequently. I'm disappointed to say we've been exposed to it more than I'm comfortable with. But like I said, our job is really never ever done, because when you just think you've assisted one family, trust me, there's 15,000 other families behind that family that's sitting and waiting. So I want to encourage all of you viewers today who, to do your part, because we all need assistance when it comes to equality in this country. We all need to be assistive in that process. It's not something that we can just leave for government to do.
Yeah, and if I'm somebody living with, a disability and I am facing some sort of abuse, or if I know someone in my neighborhood, what are the steps so that people can take in terms of helping, those victims?
There's so many institutions that are available in terms of phoning for assistance or getting assistance. I think a lot of our problem as South Africans is our access to information. We don't really have a lot of access to information around these types of issues. Somehow it seems to be a bit of a buried topic. And there are lots of institutions that you can go to. There's lots of places of safety that are funded to try and assist people in those types of situations. If you do find that maybe it's a neighbor that you are hearing there's abuse coming from that home, and you know that there's a kid in that home living with a disability, please by all means report that. There's social workers that are attached to police stations that work very closely with police stations in the areas that everybody resides in. So you contact the police will then put you in contact with the social worker for that area, and the steps she or he will guide you from there, exactly what is available to that individual. They definitely need to come and do a site visit to see what is the challenge in that home. It's not okay, though, to just sit and listen to it and keep quiet.
Marissa, thank you so much for your time here in SABC News. That is Marisse Edwards. She is the Operations Manager at Modern Centric Holdings.